Hey everyone, good afternoon and happy Thursday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Arel Winninger, and across the high desert today it's been cloudy. We've had some breaks in the cloud cover with a little bit of sun at times, but more showers have been pushing through, and even a couple of those producing a little bit of lightning. Yeah, we'll look at that, what's happening next, and everything that's going to be impacting our weather forecast coming up through the next few days, and that's going to be during the next several minutes. We're going to do a deep dive into your most reliable forecast from the Central Oregon Daily Weather Center, starting with what it looks like outside right here, right now. We have a whole lot of cloud cover, and we can see some of those showers off in the distance. Really cool images coming from some of these cameras, specifically looking at the Prineville Reservoir, as well as Lake Billy, Chinook, and even Ben. But when we shift and go from the cameras that are looking at the clouds and the sky to the cameras that are looking at the ground and the roads, what we're seeing is some damp spots on the roads. In fact, we've had showers rolling through Sisters, Lapine, Madras. A couple of these cameras don't show too much in the way of wet roads, but just keep in mind that some slick conditions are going to be possible, and more showers are still expected. So here's what we've seen so far. These off and on showers have been pushing through. In total, just shy of a couple dozen lightning strikes across in and around Central Oregon. Some of that through the higher elevations, some of that through the Cascades, but none of it really impacting any of our bigger cities. If you're in Camp Sherman, you might have heard a couple claps of thunder because of a few of those lightning strikes in your neck of the woods. Now, satellite and radar does show that these light showers are pushing through the high desert, and even when it comes to the thunderstorm activity, there's not too much to be worried about. Now, when we look across the rest of the state, what we're seeing is that through south central Oregon, mostly just showers. A single thunderstorm well to the south of Oak Ridge, getting down into the Medford-Ashland area. No lightning, but definitely some rain. Coming up to Portland and all the way through Astoria to Hood River, we pretty much just have showers across the entire state, and there have been some thunderstorms. So we are in an active weather pattern. We are looking at more precipitation, and there is a cold front that's been rolling in. It's already starting to fizzle out. Now, on the backside of this cold front, we're keeping a lot of the moisture. That low pressure that's just behind the cursor of my mouse, that is going to dig a little further to the south and southeast, right into the coastline, but it as well fizzles out. Keep in mind, though, it is continuing to bring that broad cyclonic rotation, that counterclockwise rotation. That's why most of these showers are moving from the south to the northeast. Now, let's look at the bigger picture. When we look at enhanced satellite imagery, so infrared satellite imagery with an enhancement thrown on it, this enhancement helps us identify where we have really tall clouds, don't see too much over the Tri-County area. What we do see when it comes to the pressure, those solid white lines all across the map, those are isobars, or equal lines of pressure, constant lines of pressure. And this time yesterday, where we have that low pressure system that's just off the coastline of the Olympic Peninsula, that was a lot tighter. That had significantly lower pressure in its center, and we had a lot more isobars stacked up on the way out. So that is indicative of this system already really starting to fizzle out, and that cold front is already wrapping up. Now, by tomorrow, that low pressure is going to be moving into Central Oregon and fizzling out once again, or really moving into the Pacific Northwest before fizzling out. There we go. Relative humidity is pretty moderate to high. It's not too bad at all. Now, some areas of fog are expected tonight. In those areas, you're going to see humidity hit 100% or into the 90s. Now, high temperatures in the last 24 hours, 50s, 60s, and 71 degrees. I do believe that 71 in Warm Springs was from today, because there were a few spots that got up there. Most of us just 50s and 60s. Now that puts us between 4 degrees warmer and 7 degrees, 8 degrees cooler than just 24 hours ago. So here through the rest of this evening and tonight, we fall back down into a chilly range. Temperatures fall through the 40s, reaching into the 30s, yet a few 20s are going to be possible. Your school bus forecast shows a chilly start, and then temperatures warming back into the 60s. Now, for Friday, we're wrapping up the work with lower to mid-60s. Early clouds, some areas of AM fog, followed by some PM clearing. Where we really get that clearing, temperatures could bump up a little bit more, especially if it happens earlier in the day. Now, going forward through the next several days, we get another dip in temperature Saturday. Another chance of sprinkles, another cold front. But that'll be the last cold front for a while, because by Sunday we get our clearing. By Monday and Tuesday, under tons of sunshine, a real warming trend begins. So here's how this plays out. through the overnight hours, we are looking at some lingering showers. Now, these showers are not going to be widespread. We're not looking at a complete washout, but still out there in some areas of fog possible. By tomorrow, if we have any fog, that lifts up and dissipates. Elsewhere, we have some clouds. Those clouds thin out by the afternoon and evening, and then Saturday, another front rolls into the region. This front isn't going to be as strong. The mountains absorb a lot of the moisture, and then on the backside of that, we get our clearing Sunday. By Monday, still tons of sunshine. Let's look past that. This is the GFS. This is the long-range forecast model, and it shows continued sunshine, not just Monday, but Tuesday. Wednesday, some PM clouds are going to be possible, and by Thursday, our next system starts to roll in, bringing more precipitation during the evening and overnight hours. So between now and Saturday at 11 p.m., we're still looking at getting wet across the high desert. Meanwhile, today, winds haven't been nearly as strong. Gusts alone are between 5 and 15 miles per hour. Actual wind speeds, 2 to 12 miles per hour, mostly coming out of the north. So when we look at the winds trend here in the last couple of hours, it did get a little bit breezy. The next couple of hours, we get tapering winds back down to a gentle breeze, and to wrap up the work week, we're looking at 5 to 15 miles per hour, gusting at 20. Same thing on Saturday. Not too bad at all. Not as strong of winds as we have been seeing. Now for tonight, 40s and 30s expected. A few 20s possible, but some of our higher elevations could actually be reaching near and below freezing. That is going to be expected for some, especially on the east slopes of the Cascades. By Friday, we're talking another round of 50s and 60s with a few 70s possible. And here's that 7-day planner. It shows that all the way through this weekend, some roller coaster temperatures are expected. We still have one more cold front for the high desert. And then Sunday, we get our clearing. That's the transition day. By Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, tons of sunshine, and that sunshine brings with it our next warming trend, and that warming trend brings us back up to near and maybe a little above average before that next system rolls in. So your weather headlines for this Thursday, October the 2nd, more clouds and light showers stay in the planner. It's still going to be breezy at times and cool, but a weekend system will be our last system before a ridge of high pressure builds into the region. We get our sunshine and we get our warming trend. Today is Thursday, so the latest drought monitor is out. This is what it looked like last week, where we had moderate drought for some parts of the high desert on the east slopes of the Cascades through Jefferson County and into Crook County. Abnormally dry for others, but look at what happened when they updated it this week. More of the high desert is in that abnormally dry area, except for the Warm Springs Reservation, splitting the difference between moderate and severe drought, and the Cascades have a moderate drought. And one of the reasons for the improvement is in the last 30 days, we've gotten a lot of rain for parts of the Tri-County area. In the last 30 days specifically, Bend is 200 to 300% above average for this time of the year. Prineville is right around average for this time of the year. Had a little bit of green, had a little bit of yellow, and between Sisters, Madras, and everything that's green, that's where we've had 100 to 200% of what we should be getting compared to what we've observed across the high desert. Now, keep in mind, we still have some showers. It's not going to be enough to help clear the drought conditions out completely. Some of those showers do have a little bit of lightning associated with them. We're not looking at any extremely impactful thunderstorms. None of them are showing signs of vertical development, just a little bit of lightning possible, and none of them are really pushing through any locations. Now, the one that just moved through Milliken, that is working its way to the northeast, and it could be coming around Prineville during the next couple of hours, so just keep an eye on that. That's the latest in weather. Join us tonight on Central Oregon Daily News of the latest headlines and your most reliable forecast. We'll see you then.